At Optavia, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the Optavia community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join Optavia, but please note they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the US or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with Optavia. Additionally, this audio may contain income or earning representations of some independent Optavia coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with Optavia is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Optavia acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to Optavia coaches in the US, Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent Optavia coaches operating in the US, please see the Optavia Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of US coaches under the US Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent Optavia coaches operating in the US under the US Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in Health, the Optavia team.
Welcome to Inspiring Stories of Transformation. Amber and Jared Smithson here, certified Optavia coaches. Here is some fun.
The one time in our life that we've done yoga.
If you're listening on a podcast, I'm showing a picture of my husband and I drug him. This was a yoga date night. I was like, guess what we're doing? And they even had pictures there. That it was so fun. They had a photographer. How fun is that? And we also have a picture of our family. We have 3 beautiful children who are all teenagers. Talk about a fun time in life is teenagers. So we're very excited to be here tonight with you, talking a little bit about the Trilogy of Optimal Health. And here's some stats for you. Jared's my stats man, so go for it, Jared.
So 1975, this is a year after I was born. Okay, so during my lifetime alone, obesity has tripled. And a lot of that is picked up pace over time. It's like the obesity is happening to the world like would you rather have $1 million given you today or a penny a day doubled for a month, right? A penny a day doubled is like $10 million or something like that after a month. But that's the pace that we're picking up with just the level of lifestyle induced diseases and so forth. Most of the world's population live in countries where overweight and obesity kills more than underweight. Okay, there's they say that like 1 out of 5 kids in our country are dealing with hunger, but the same percentage, almost 20% of kids are in that obese category already. So almost a third of adults, 31%, report that money is a major source of conflict in their relationship. The challenges that we faced this year, about 75, just over 75%, just over 3 out of 4 people in America say that they live paycheck to paycheck. So even a percentage of people who aren't living paycheck to paycheck are still functioning on a daily basis with this fear or anxiety around financial resources.
They need some element 23 in their life processing emotions.
Yeah. Well, we needed this for a long time in our own lives. So 69% of workers are stressed about their finances. 72% admit to worrying about their personal finances at work. About 40%, this is not on here, 40% of employees in the United States say that they actively seek distraction during their workday. Buffering. They're trying not to do their work to avoid the emotions and mental emotional conflicts that are coming up at work.
Yeah, there's so many of us, you guys, that we would rather do anything but feel our emotions. But here's the cool thing is when we actually do take that time to process, to feel those emotions, to really like connect from above the line, you feel so much more light and free and able to make decisions based on your higher desires, on what you really want to accomplish in your life. And that's really what Optavia is all about, you guys. When Dr. A started all this, how many years ago? 20 years ago, about? That is what he envisioned, is a group of people who are not just eating healthily, that's part of it, because he was a critical care physician, the 10th board certified critical care physician in the country. He was a big deal, you guys. He was the guy. And he saw all these people, coming in his ER, he's patching them up, he's saving their lives, blah, 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 another day at the office. But here's the thing is he's like, I want to be able to move upstream. I want to be able to help people create health in their lives earlier than when they are at death's door. And that's why he left critical care. He left all the money and fame and the things that he had as big head honcho at the hospital and said, I am going to put it all on the line and risk it and partner with this company. And we're going to focus on healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. And now today, I mean, what's the newest Forbes?
Fortune,
sorry.
Fortune magazine ranks the top 100 fastest growing companies in the world. And we came in this year at number 2.
Number 2. That's pretty cool, you guys. And
so before we move on, this idea of lifelong transformation, when Amber and I first were introduced to Optavia over 11 years ago, well, over 12 years ago, but we didn't jump in as early as now, looking back. Hindsight's 2020, right?
mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the only regrets that I have in my life that I didn't jump in sooner, that I let my fear, my anxiety control me into doing something different with my life. But I read this years and years ago, and most people in the world are familiar with Jim Rohn. But at our very first convention, this is why I knew Optavia was different. We met Dr. A. We listened to Dr. A. And Jim Rohn said this: you must constantly ask yourself these questions. Who am I around? What are they doing to me? What have they got me reading? What have they got me saying? Where do they have me going? What do they have me thinking? And most important, what do they have me becoming? Then ask yourself the big question, is that okay? Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change. And we knew when we went to our very first Optavia convention back in 2009 that we had found a place where there was a place, there was a program, there was a system, and there were people that all wanted change. They all were going in the same direction. They were all wanting progression,
mm-hmm.
and they all wanted to celebrate each other's success.
So true. And that's part of our story, you guys. This is what Optavia is about. We're about lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. Lifelong transformation includes healthy body, mind, and finances. It's not just about losing weight, although we do that pretty well too. We certainly do, because we have the 4 components. People get a coach. We have the Habits of Health Transformational System. This amazing community that all of you are participating in right now, whether you're live or you're listening to a playback, and also our feelings and our amazing eating plans that work. I mean, this is a turnkey system. And that is so amazing. Whenever you are starting a business, whenever you want to be part of something new, I want to be part of something that is turnkey, that is proven, that actually works. So healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances all make up what we call the trilogy of optimal health. And I know that I've experienced this in my own life, is when I'm out of whack in one of these areas, I tend to be out of whack in others of the mind, body, finances equation. Have you guys ever found that? Put me in the chat if you've been out of whack, like for example, maybe you are unhealthy in your body. All of a sudden your mindset starts going in the wrong direction. Or maybe you have been struggling in your finances and all of a sudden you gain 10 pounds. I mean, all these things.
I'm curious to ask this.
Okay.
Can you be out of whack in one of them and not be out of whack in the other two? I don't think so. I've given it a lot of serious thought over the last decade. And I go back to times in my life when I've been out of balance in one of the two, and it naturally drags down the other areas. Mm. We try to overcompensate or undercompensate or something. So that's the whole idea of holistic health. Mm-hmm. One thing is going to drag down everything.
Absolutely. And you know, when I want to tell a little bit of our story, Jared. And when we first were introduced to Optavia, we were extremely out of whack in most of those areas. And I think back, and I earlier I was talking about being above or below the line. Where above the line, you're open and you're curious, you have a growth mindset, and below the line, you are closed and defensive and committed to being right.
Whoa, I think that looks like every picture that was taken of me for like a decade.
Probably. Me too. And that's where we were back then, is we were closed. We know what to do. We just need to do it. We were defensive. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't need to ask for help. We had to be right. Like, well, I don't know about, coaching or this and that, or I don't know about packaged foods. I mean, we had all of them, all of anything you've ever heard why someone would not be part of our amazing community and family that is Optavia. We had that concept going on. And when I looked at my life, I saw that we had no money. I saw that we were stressed out to the max. Our bodies were not in great shape. And I was going, do I really know what to do?
We have a mentor that asked me in a private mentoring session a while back, asked me, Jared, if your knowledge equals results, what do you actually know? We as human beings, we love to think that we know something, but do we know everything about it? We might know some details. We might know some good foods to eat and some foods that aren't conducive to helping us reach our health goals and stuff. But maybe what we don't know is how to establish new habits. Maybe what we don't know isn't the part that we think that we know everything about.
Maybe we don't know how to do this long term.
Maybe we don't know how to surround ourselves with the right community, with the right support. Maybe what we don't know is that the best way to continue moving forward in our own health is to help someone else move forward in theirs.
Yeah. And what I found out, being like defensive and closed off, to really like diving into the full trilogy of optimal health, which for us included coaching, paying it forward. To Jared's point, what I didn't know is that was exactly what I needed. I thought, well, I don't know if I know enough. I need to like read the whole book and memorize it. Or, well, I don't know if I like people enough. You guys, I was kind of grumpy back then. I don't know if I'm going to be successful. What if I fail? And that was hard to kind of like come up against these like, I don't knows. And when I finally just said, you know what? I don't know any of that, but the only way I'm going to figure it out is to try. That is when I went to that open and curious, and what am I missing, and what's next, and what could I learn, and who could I help, and who can I bring along with me, that my life started changing. And it was because of coaching. It was because coaching reinforces your decision to be healthy, keeps it in the forefront of your mind. It keeps you learning about it. It keeps you in a community of coaches who support each other, who build each other up, that it's a pretty cool community to be in. You probably already realize that the Optavia community for clients is pretty cool. You guys, it's like leveling up and getting a whole new, like it's the peak to peak. You get to that peak on the mountain, you go, oh my goodness, look, there's a whole other peak over there. That's coaching. You get to pay it forward and make a difference for someone else. I still remember the first client who called me to celebrate that she could get on a bike again and that she was able to ride a bike with her grandson. I still remember that. I remember what that felt like. I remember feeling like I was part of that in a small way that you can't, I don't know where else I would get that.
You know, when we looked into the opportunity of coaching over a decade ago, Amber and I talked about it for almost a year. And we're like, we can't add one more thing to our plate. Mm. And people use this word balance, life balance, all the time. And we think that we need to empty the plates, right? But sometimes balance means adding something. So you got the balance here, and if one side's out of whack, sometimes the answer is balancing this side. Like when you've got a little kid that's on the other end of the teeter-totter, you can't just jump off your end, right? Because then the kid's gonna, the teeter-totter is gonna go the other way. Sometimes you just have to add the right amount of weight. So a support person pushing a little bit more pressure on that other side to balance things out.
Especially when what you're trying to accomplish is growth. Sometimes when what you're trying to accomplish is growth, you got to add a little bit of weight onto your weights to have that growth. And coaching was that for us, is that it started really pushing us to go to the next level in our healthy body. It started pushing us to actually work on personal development and reading and grow our mindset. It started pushing us to get out of the debts and the financial burdens that we had gotten into over the years. You guys, we had our identities stolen. We had debt in our name that we had not incurred. And we were looking at bankruptcy, and we hadn't made a house payment in 6 months when we first signed up as coaches. We didn't know how we were going to put food on the table. And that very first full month of coaching, we were able to make our first house payment. And almost to the dollar, what we made. And it was just such like a testament to us. It was such this burden lifted off. For me, I mean, it was really more like a sign. And that we were where we were supposed to be. And I was getting phone calls like I described of the grandmother able to get on a bike again. That was really special. So that's been almost 12 years now. And we've just gone up from there. And really our finances, a 180-degree turn. I mean, it's been the biggest blessing.
Well, and there's Amber sharing that part of our story. None of us, no human being on this planet has the power and control to go back in time and change their past. Nothing that has ever happened in the history of the world can be changed. What can be changed is what happens in the future with how we behave today. I had the opportunity last week, our 17-year-old, for a school project, he had to choose someone to interview. And he came to me and asked me if he could interview me. And it was just, tell me who you are, where you came from, some childhood stories, things that molded you in your life. some challenges you face, what you do for work and for purpose now in your life. And then one of his last questions was, if you could go back and change anything in your life, what would it be? And I said, I would make the decision to join Optavia the first time I heard about it as a coach. But nothing else in my life would I change, because all of the challenges and good, bad, ugly, everything made me who I am today. But Optavia helped me provide a framework to be able to look at all of the bad things that happen, the negative things, the challenging things, and be grateful and appreciative for the strength that those things gave me.
I love that. It's fun. It's fun to coach. And they pay us, you guys. They pay us to just like help people and help them move forward and invite them to webinars. And I just love it. So let's see. I'm trying to find okay, you guys. Okay, I'm going to bring on my friend Capri because Capri is amazing. And she is going to share some of her story with coaching. And I am super excited. So Capri, come off mute and tell us a little bit about your experience with Optavia as a coach.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I am so excited for the opportunity to share with such a large group. Mostly because this is a life-changing program, and this opportunity to coach. I am with Jared and Amber. Like, this was offered to me 4.5 years ago, and I cannot fathom where I would be today if I would have taken that. However, my coaching story really starts like most brand new origin stories start with things like this. And it stemmed from necessity. We all have real life needs, you guys. And Jared and Amber shared some of theirs and the things that they were able to accomplish, like those real life necessities that they were able to fulfill just by taking a chance on coaching. And I will tell you some of the places that we were at. Scarcity was like the name of the game. I look back on it and it's hard to believe that that was our life. We were fresh off of a job loss, and it was a really monumental loss. We were dealing with chronic sickness in our family. We had to sell our house because we couldn't make the payment on it. So I didn't jump into it as quickly as I should have, like Amber and Jared. We were also considering bankruptcy, and I was mortified at the idea of what came next. My husband was ill. He could not work. I was being faced with kind of losing my dream of being a stay-at-home mom. And with complete respect for what everyone wants, that is my dream. I want to be home with my child. It's so important to me. And I just fell into a deep despair. And the things that I knew that I wanted were so crystal clear to me. And it wasn't until I focused not on the scarcity, but on what I actually wanted to create was when I started to have a breakthrough. I knew that I wanted healthy finances. I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. We were definitely one of those people that lived paycheck to paycheck, felt fear inside of our jobs. Like it would just never be enough. I knew that I wanted a job that supported mine and my family's health. And I wanted safety and security, like most of us want. I wanted to be with my child. That was so important to me, you guys. And the morning that I had over the idea of having to go get like a 40 or 50 hour a week job just to make ends meet and then have to pay daycare to take half of what I made, it just felt so sickening to me. And it just didn't seem worth it when I wanted to be home. Completely honestly, I received my answer to coach in prayer. And I love that that's a big part of my story. And it's been a big part of my coaching journey. For me, that pull to coach comes from a higher power. And whatever it is that you believe in, that is something that you should really listen to. I was pleading in prayer and I asked to be home with my child and to create a monumental healthy finances for my family. And you guys, clear as a bell, I heard my answer. I texted my best friend, who's my mentor coach, at 4:30 in the morning because that's when I got my answer. And I told her, I am coaching with you. I am not sure what that means. I am not 100% sure what it all entails, but it's going to happen and it's going to fix my life. I was so excited when I got it started, but I was also kind of sick to my stomach because there's so much that you have to figure out. I thought that health coaching would give me pretty much like two things. I thought, okay, it's going to give me healthy finances and it's going to give me an opportunity to keep my body healthy. And that's pretty much it, right? Nope. So wrong. You guys, the amount of change that I have seen in my life this has been the most dramatic year and a half of change and growth and dedication to my personal development that I have had in my entire life. The life book is no joke. The education we receive towards our mindset, it is life-changing. I know I'm saying that a lot, but there's no other way to describe it. My healthy mind has changed my habits and it's changed me completely. And the bigger thing is that as I let that ripple out to other people, I learn continually. There are always new things, there are always new ways to mold. And as you really listen to people and you help them to live above the line, it helps you to continually self-check and live above the line. And being surrounded by this community, it will constantly change you. There is no sympathy here, there's empathy, but there is amazing people that tell you the hard things and make you change just by letting you know that there's change to be had. You guys, this is an amazing opportunity. And I'm with Jared and Amber. I wish that I could go back 4.5 years ago and accept it then, but I'm so glad that I've been here now. And I hope that you are all enjoying it as much as I am.
I love that, Capri. Thank you so much for sharing. I agree. I mean, oh my gosh, everything she said was spot on for sure. So how does it work for coaches? So we're really focused on optimal well-being. It's a relational model. It's about connecting with people and seeing what they want to create and then matching them up to how we can help them. I love that we are self-employed and independent, and we could be full-time or part-time, like however much time you want to put into it is what you can put into it. Low startup and operating costs, no inventory. You guys, seriously, seriously, it's $200. It's $199 to start as a coach. Crazy. Flexible business. You can work from anywhere. I've made calls from the beaches of Hawaii and from my backyard in between volleyball games. I love it. There's no quotas or monthly purchases. We have full training and support for our coaches. And you learn as you earn. You work with a business coach and a mentorship team that takes you step by step through a simple system that works, that is proven. And you work at your own pace. Like when I had my brain surgery, listen, I wasn't doing a lot of work then, but you put into it as much time as you'd like. And that's what you get out of it too. We work hard and we help a lot of people. So Jared, I know you're cooking up something to close this off with.
Well, it's been said a couple of different ways. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, many people die with their music still in them. Why is this so? Too often it's because they are always getting ready to live. Before they know it, time runs out. Dr. Anderson shared with us about one of his childhood heroes years ago, the great oceanographer Jacques Cousteau. And he said it becomes any man's responsibility for whatever reason, when they have the opportunity to live an extraordinary life, they have no right to keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good close, Brian.
If you're a person of faith, there's a scripture that says this in the Gospel of Thomas. It says, if you bring forth that which is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. When we've been given such a gift that it changes our life, are we willing to just share it with other people who could have the same blessing in their own life? Or are we going to hold on to it and strangle it and not share it with others? Capri talked about scarcity. Scarcity is strangling, is choking a gift that has been given to us. When we hold it lightly and just turn it over for everybody to see and to appreciate, there's enough for everybody.
Thanks for joining us tonight, you guys. If anything, we hope that more of you will decide to coach, to help others, to share this gift of Optavia with your friends and family. And thanks for just being here and working on you, because that is an awesome start. So have a great week, you guys. We'll see you next week on Help and Hope Right.
At Optavia, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The prior audio contained the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the Optavia community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope those stories inspire you to continue your journey with or to consider joining Optavia. But please note that they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with Optavia. Additionally, this audio may have contained income or earning representations of some independent Optavia coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with Optavia is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Optavia acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to Optavia coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent Optavia coaches operating in the U.S., please see the Optavia Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent Optavia coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.